Coming up on the Start a Quest podcast. Do you prefer an initiative order of like you go, I go, you go, I go, or would you prefer the conversational Daggerheart of we're going to decide together who's appropriate to go?
1, we're a team.
Yeah.
2, we have shared goals.
Yeah.
3, we're all combat capable people.
You're reminding me of why I love the game.
Yeah.
It is my least favorite thing if we're in a combat situation and a player doesn't take combat actions.
It's you and me, we're sailing on the sea in a friendship on an adventure. It's fantasy, who do you want to be? Now the walls are falling away. I could play a bard with a broken heart, you could play a rogue cause you stole our boat. So head out west, now time to start a quest and party up with your friends.
I want to tell you my favorite initiative rule.
I'm ready.
Okay. This is a rule. It's in Blades in the Dark. You might have seen it. It's on one of the playbooks. It's a special ability, and it simply says, when it matters who is faster, it is you. That's a good initiative rule.
It matters to me. I go first.
I go first. Yep.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Have you ever seen that initiative rule work out in a way that you weren't happy with?
No, because I think that there's... you can never design for bad faith, right? So if someone says, well, I catch up to the train, and you're like, no, it's a train, right? It's Blades in the Dark, it's a train, it's going to go through the Deathlands. You're like, yeah, but I'm faster because I have this ability. You're like,
Well, actually, do you
you're
know
not
what's so funny?
faster than a train.
Blades doesn't really have an initiative order in general, right? It's procedural in the sense of, okay, what's happening? We need to get into this building and steal this magical artifact. Okay, we're getting into the building. Who's getting into the building? Who's at the window? That's me. I go first because the window's first.
Yeah.
Next is the ghost. Who's dealing with the ghost?
Yeah. So one of the first pages of Apocalypse World, and perhaps the most like misunderstood page of it, talks about the conversation. And people have heard the conversation and have reprinted the conversation in later Powered by the Apocalypse games as like, we're having a conversation, so everybody should listen to each other and take turns. The reality of the conversation in text and also in how that game wants to be played.
We interrupt each other all the time.
Yeah, I'm more excited about this, so I'm going to talk more and you're going to listen because you care about me and whatever.
And sometimes I was going to say something, we'll drop it, we'll follow that.
Right. You know who goes first? The person who cares the most about going first. The person who cares the most should always go first.
Yeah.
And this is like, I think, my fundamental problem with D&D's initiative. So long as you go before a baddie, it doesn't matter where, like, you always want to be the last person to go before the baddie goes.
Because at that point, the board is settled, you have all the information, and then you can take the most advantageous act.
Yeah. If you're a rogue, you don't want to go first. You want the tank to get up in front of them first and give you a flanking opportunity.
Here's something about Blades in the Dark, though, is that when it is my turn, on that same turn, I am suffering the consequences.
Yes.
It is very rare that it is somebody else's turn, and as a result, I'm suffering their consequences. Unless I am voluntarily stepping up to go, I will protect you, or I'm assisting you and putting myself in that situation. But in D&D, if it's your turn, you can do something which means, okay, now this is a problem for me, and I wasn't even doing anything. There's probably an argument that you could make for whose turn is it? It's the person that's at the most risk. We had I used to work for a company that was all of the departments were very grabby, and they all wanted to have the prestige of having the responsibility. There's a new project. Who owns it? Marketing's like, oh, we want it. Or tech was like, no, we want it. We want the credibility. And to the point where they were having all the heads of departments were arguing about who got to own different things. And the best way I saw somebody break it up is goes, guys, imagine nobody does this project. Who gets yelled at? Oh, Dan gets yelled at. Okay, it's Dan's.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because Dan was at the most
really
risk,
good.
so it's Dan's turn.
Dan's got skin in the game. Dan's in the arena, right?
But it's interesting that they could feel that out. They didn't go, which department should it land in? But if they go, who gets yelled at? Oh, yeah, we're going to yell at Dan.
Right. And I think this is why I hate the... So in games, especially games with like binary success or failure states, so like who goes first is not about who cares the most. It's about like, Do you want to defer? Oh, is this your thing? Oh, I don't want to. Oh, no, it's okay. You can go first if you want to. I don't really mind.
I hate that conversation. I hate that a lot. But I think it's maybe my antisocial nature in that regard, where just I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I don't want to take too much of the spotlight. I don't want to like. Have you ever like been in a social situation and you've gotten too excited and you've been like, oh, I've taken up way too much air in this room accidentally because I was so excited about it. Amongst good friends and stuff, that's fine. They're excited for you to do that and they want to give you that space.
Right.
But that's not always the case. And I am just so aware that in a game like Daggerheart, which I will grab now, in Daggerheart, where people say this has no initiative, but it does have an initiative order, it's just negotiated by the players, and a player can take as many turns as they want in a row, essentially. I hate the conversation because I don't want to take too much. You know what I mean?
So
I don't enjoy it.
It's really funny that you are there because I fully agree with you in that I hate it, but I hate it for the opposite reason. You hate it because the stakes feel too high, if you can let me like put that in there. The social stakes of it feel too high.
Oh, yeah, I'm at risk.
Yeah, I hate it because it's meaningless. I hate it because it's nonsense. Because the standing around being like, I think my favorite example of this is, you know all those Euro board games that are like, in Ticket to Ride, the person who has last been on a train goes first.
Yeah.
What matters is somebody go.
Do you know my favorite version of that, of like determining who goes first? It's, you read some games, it goes, oh, the youngest person goes first. And the reason is because that is the person most likely to crack it.
Okay, this is exactly my point. The person who cares the most about the moment should go first, unless you are trying to achieve a different aim, right? There's you mentioned the word spotlight before, and like Daggerheart
specifically, explicitly does so.
Explicitly calls it spotlight. I really like the idea of spotlight because, tagging back to what you said before, spotlight implies you're the one with stakes. Spotlight implies you're the one that can act. Spotlight implies that what we're seeing on screen is the most dramatic.
I want to highlight that my problem with the spotlight isn't the fiction stuff. When we look at it on screen, I'm like, yeah, spotlight makes sense because the most appropriate person is always acting. It makes sense that the camera's focused on this person.
Yes.
I hate the procedure and the table feel of it. It feels bad to do so. And even looking at D&D, I don't even feel good about that initiative. And that's like for a totally different reason. Like our brains work differently.
Yes.
And my brain cannot track an order that means everybody goes only once and we're kind of zipping around in a star shape around the table. I have to refer back to the list every time. I immediately, as I look away from the list of initiative, I lose the order in my brain. So I need something simple. Like I love that we've got Index Card RPG up there. It's a game that's always an initiative.
Yep.
Even when you're not in combat, you're still taking turns. You just go around the table.
Now, we need to take the moment to talk about how brilliant this is about just go around the table.
I love it.
Because it sounds, okay, you just go around the table. So it's always in this order. So I'm always following this person. No, what you're missing there is you can change your order around the table.
But I also love that that's kind of gated behind inconvenient action in that, like, hey, if you really care about it, do something about it.
Yeah.
And if you don't care about it, then can't be bothered.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And that's my brain doesn't optimize well long term. So I'm a kind of a rule of thumb person by my own brain functioning, like heuristics, right? I use a ton of heuristics. And the way that I work in complex situations is I learn the situation very well. I learn the rules very well. And then I just execute kind of on instinct.
Okay.
I'm not the kind of person who sits there and says, okay, well, you'll go and do this, and then this person will do this, and they'll probably do 12 damage to it, and then that will probably put them on a third of their hit points, which means that if you sneak attack, that actually opens up a pathway for me.
I hate it. Yeah.
Hate it. I'm a like 2 turns ahead max person.
I'm not even
After that, all heuristics.
My problem with the initiative order isn't about the strategizing. It's literally about like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what round we're up to. I don't know whose turn it is now.
Yeah.
I don't know who just went. Did you take 2 turns in a row?
So what I am is I'm very good at understanding an objective and having a goal and achieving that goal. And so the example that I find really interesting is like, who is it most interesting to point that spotlight at the table?
Yeah.
Is a thing that we can put our thumb on the scale for. Is a thing that we can invent.
You know, a lot of games would put that onus on the dungeon master to go, you decide who's most interesting. Daggerheart says the players decide who's most interesting.
Yes.
Do you have a preference in those two?
I think I prefer the Dungeon Master side, personally.
Okay. Why?
Because I think that there is something about a unified voice.
Perspective, yeah.
And like the kind of the role of a Dungeon Master as a director in these like collaborative games is they say, here's the thing that we're all going to talk about now, and we can all talk about it, and everyone contributes, and like we're going to listen to everyone. But I would really like us, team, to think about this. And other people will say, in fact, you and I were talking about Blades in the Dark, and you said, if someone wanted to do a setup action, would you let them like swoop in and steal someone's spotlight? And my thing is like, no, I wouldn't, because I'd never want someone to swoop in and steal a moment.
But you let someone give the spotlight for the setup.
Give the spotlight, or like, do you mind if I play to lift to elevate you? The example I was considering for this one is if you have a moment where a single person in the party is in danger. So you're fighting a dragon.
Yeah.
And the dragon's maw has come down, and the barbarian is holding an incisor in each hand, and like, you know, the mighty thews are holding the mouth open so that it can't get to them. It is beautifully dramatic and perfectly acceptable for the DM to be like, barbarian, we're zooming in on you here now. What do you do?
Because
how do you get out of this situation?
Because you're at risk.
Because you're at risk. But it's also really interesting and really fun to be like, and we're going to hold you there for a second, barbarian. Wizard, you're, you know, off to the side trying to throw fireballs at this thing, and you see this moment happen. What do you do? And now, Wizard, I want you to know your actions, like the barbarian's the one at stake here. And like that is, as a director, pulling people in that are like, not, oh, barbarian, yeah, you've got this cool moment, this cool spotlight moment when you're doing this, but I'm just going to help us just share that to the wizard a little bit. I'm just going to like wave them in.
Now, being charitable to players deciding where the spotlight goes in Daggerheart, players could also reach that same conclusion.
Yes.
And I think that those are both okay things to go. Like, you're in the dragon's mouth, barbarian. You're at risk. What do you do? But then it's also respecting the barbarian by going, you've made this decision to be incapacitated by holding this dragon at bay.
Yep.
And so I'm going to respect the fact that you're incapacitated by going to some other dude.
Right. And this is why the secret of this is like a classic sort of dungeon world presentation, right? That someone's in danger, switch to someone else. And the secret to these are the GM's like agendas, the GM's goals, because the GM's goals are put someone in a spot, show someone a downside to their class, like do these things that create dramatic situations, because what you're trying to do is make a cool narrative. And my problem with Daggerheart offloading that to players is, I've said it before, and I will say it, this is going to be on our starter quest drinking game bingo card, whatever. This is going to be that center square. Players will optimize the fun out of their game, right?
I was racking my brain. I'm like, more game, less game, more game,
more game, less game, right? So like, players will optimize fun out of it. If you say to them, "Hey, who should go first?" one of the things they'll be thinking is,
who would be best?
Rogue, you've got +2 damage on your dagger for the next turn. Maybe you go and do this now. Like, they may try and solve it like a puzzle.
In Daggerheart, I don't think they would.
Yeah, I'm not actually familiar with what the players' like agenda and goals are in Daggerheart.
I think Daggerheart's way like maximally character focused. Character focused as in character in a storyline, and I want to hit the story beats off my character, and the other players want to watch me do that, enable me to do that. I said to you earlier that I think in Daggerheart your turn is a gift that the other players give you. It's like, oh, we're all going to step aside and let you do this. You know what I mean? We want you to do this.
Yeah, right.
And you're
right.
meant to give that gift back sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, so here is the thing that I think giving it to the players misses, or potentially loses out on. There is a GM move in Dungeon World that is put them in a spot, show them that a bad thing is happening, make it hard. Give them a challenge that is like worthy of their heroic nature, right? One of the things you might do is say, the barbarian's in the dragon's maw, he's going to get eaten. Turn to the wizard and say to them, remember when you were knocked flying and your magical staff, your arcane focus, like was tossed away? What do you do? And the wizard will be like, oh, I teleport the barbarian out, and you're like, magical staff's gone. You're in a spot. Like I'm turning the spotlight to you, not because you're empowered to solve it, but because watching you struggle is now like escalating the drama, right? Like it's and when you come back from it, because you're a player character in a role-playing game, you have tools. When you say, oh, you know what? I say, to hell with magic, I'll do it like the barbarian taught me, and you run in and like tackle him out of the way of the speeding train that is a dragon's mouth. That's even cooler. Like that's even better. And I don't think there is any way in a game of Daggerheart, and I could be wrong, but I don't think there's any way that players would say, when they say, whose turn is it next? They will say, what about the person who's the least equipped to tackle this problem?
They might go, what about the person who's spoken the least this session so far? They might go like keep tally in that way.
Yes.
Actually, YouTube has a feature that I've never used before. We're going to use it right now.
Okay.
It lets me put a poll on the screen.
Sure.
I just want to say, I'm putting a poll on YouTube right now, and it says, do you prefer an initiative order of like, you go, I go, you go, I go, or would you prefer the conversational Daggerheart of we're going to decide together who's appropriate to go?
Like, I think they're scratching different itches. I think that even though the form factors are similar, like they're both books and they're both games and whatever, asking, do you want this or want this, is like asking someone, do you prefer a controller, like an Xbox controller or a steering wheel? And you're like, well, I'm playing Mario. Like, what, like, why would I want a steering wheel, right? Like,
but in Index Card RPG, and I'm also thinking of Shadow Dark, which also I think goes around in a circle, or at least when I played it, I went around in a circle. I don't know if I was meant to.
Sorry, Kelsey.
Sorry. It really matters that it's your turn, and it's important to you that it is your turn. And I know that my turn is important to me. I know your turn's really important to you. It's because that's where I'm doing my surviving in this survival game.
Right. That's where I'm agentic. Yeah.
In Daggerheart, like there's not a lot of consequences to me not acting. I lose my turn in Shadow Dark. Baby, I'm cooked. I needed to inspect for traps.
Okay. Can I tell you another one that I really like that I just thought of in the middle of this?
Okay. Brand new initiative system. What do we got? Hey, it's Matt coming at you with a 30-second message. You can time me. If you like this episode, share it with a friend. You know, roll for initiative, your friend. Here's an episode for you. And also, if you really like the episode, join the Patreon. For $6, you get like 200 pages of D&D PDFs that me and my team have put together, and it helps Sydney and I eat between episodes. All right, let's get back into the episode about initiative.
Can I tell you another one that I really like that I just thought of in the middle of this?
Okay, brand new initiative system. What do we got?
There is a game called Swords Without Master.
Okay.
Swords Without Master is it's an evocative like tone piece of a game. One of the things that happens in like where your character is at their most vulnerable is there is a set of dice on the table, and the GM kind of goes around picking people they want to talk to here and there, and they like press on them, and you can the text the game uses, you can make them slip and struggle, but you can't like kill them.
Okay.
But you can pretty much as a GM do anything, and they can kind of push back, but they can never succeed. And so when you want to actually succeed, when you want to act against this situation in such a way that you solve the problem, you have to pick up the dice. But that's the moment you can also die. Like if you fail, that is when the calamity comes to you. So what happens is you have these 5 people around a table, right? And you'll see me doing this a lot. This game is where I learned the waving people in thing, because I used to play with this guy called Pat.
Yeah.
So the dragon opens its mouth and tries to close it on you, and Pat says, "Oh," and I grab its teeth with each of my hands and I hold it open, and we can see my arms shaking as my things start to fail. I'm like, yeah, and you feel the hot flames from inside its body like starting to build. It's going to pour fire on you as well. And Pat's like, no, I'm not touching the dice yet. More.
Yeah, more risk.
More risk. Like, escalate this. Come on, you can do better than that. And I love this idea of like players being able to invite the threat and being able to say, now this is a problem worthy of me solving it.
You know, we've been talking about initiative, which has a fiction and a like player-focused procedural element. But across multiple games, I've just noticed this, we have intersected initiative and risk.
Yes.
Like I don't know what the relationship exactly is, but in a lot of these games, there is a relationship. In D&D, when it's your turn, you can affect how much risk I'm in. In Blades in the Dark, when it's my turn, I'm accepting risk. In Swords Without
Master.
I was going to say Swords Without Number, but I think it's Stars.
That's Stars Without Number, Worlds Without Number, Cities Without Number.
I'm so sick of these goddamn numbers and these goddamn swords.
Kevin Crawford sitting at home with a calculator being like, "You are my mortal enemy."
But in that game, they go like, no, you take your turn when
you want to bear risk.
Yeah, or like
so I just want to reflect on in D&D. My turn I can give you more risk. I don't even know if that's true. During my turn, nothing bad happens to any other person unless I actively like fireball you, right? Risk happens when the GM's turn hits.
I think that if you fail on your turn, that affects my risk profile.
Okay, yeah, all right.
You go, okay, I'm going to hold monster that guy. Nope. And he's right next to me. And we planned for, you're going to deal with him.
Yeah.
And now he's not dealt with.
Okay, cool.
And that's not necessarily like your decisions. That's your outcomes. It could be your decisions. You know, there's an interesting thing where you were saying that sometimes in the conversation about whose turn it is when the players are deciding it and you're a player, you're like, it doesn't really matter to me whose turn it is. I don't care. Like, we're going to do something. It's going to be fine. There's a thing that happens in D&D where it's like, we're going full procedure.
Yep.
They go, it's your turn, combat. Your turn, combat. And then they get to the other person's turn and they're not actually interested in the combat. I inspect the wall. I'm looking for secret doors or whatever. What that person's saying is, I don't care about this combat. You can skip me. I don't care about this. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, there's no avenue for me to not take a turn in D&D.
Yeah. There are good versions of that where like...
I hate it.
Daniel Jackson is trying to decipher the alien technology and Sam Carter and O'Neill are shooting the, Jafar.
Great challenge,
right? And turns are kind of useful there because they like allow you to pace that combat.
Becomes a clock.
But you're right. So I think a really important question there for me is like, why is it then important that we're all taking a turn? Like, how do you respond to that? Do you want that player to be passed, or are you saying it's bad they're not engaged with the combat, or like?
I think it's bad they're not engaged with the combat. It is my least favorite thing if we're in a combat situation and a player doesn't take combat actions. As a fellow player and as a dungeon master, it annoys me so much. It's my absolute least favorite thing. I'd rather you show up drunk.
If I am actively pursuing other goals,
yes,
and the combat is sort of happening around me, and I'm like, instead of fighting the monster, I'm going to run and untie the hostage.
They're kind of like connected.
Yeah.
But imagine this. We enter a room and there are a bunch of werewolves and there's a mysterious chest or something like that. And someone goes, instead of fighting them, I'm going to go loot the chest.
Yep.
I'm like, we would have gotten to the chest after.
Yeah.
But you just went like, I don't care about the combat. I'm going to go do that.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I don't know.
So I think that's a product of us giving spotlight to people who don't
deserve it.
No, who don't want it, right?
Oh, okay,
who don't have a reason to use it. Like, this is, I feel like I'm repeating myself, and I do hate that.
No, I like it.
Like, the player does not have a goal to engage with with combat time. why are we giving them a turn? And the answer to that is because a D&D combat is 3.5 hours long, and if you didn't, that would be really, really rough.
Oh, yeah. But can you imagine a player saying, like, no thanks? Can you imagine a player skipping their turn? How, like, just the weirdness of that?
Yeah, there are a bunch of... So this is going to then build into another question, which is, I think that it's because of the, like, core play of D&D, right? The core assumptions. 1, we're a team.
Yeah.
2, we have shared goals.
Yeah.
3, we're all combat capable people.
You're reminding me of why I love the game.
Yeah. And it's kind of like someone skipping their turn in Ticket to Ride, right? Like, why?
I would skip my turn and Ticket to Ride. Why? Matt caught a train home.
I would skip my turn because I have buses replacing trains. There's track work. Do you think you can just port Daggerheart or Dungeon World's initiative systems into D&D?
You could, but I think that Daggerheart wants different things than Dungeons and Dragons does.
Yes. Yeah.
These things exist in the form that they exist for a reason, even if I don't know what that reason is.
Yeah, they certainly, yeah. So, and the problem, I think, is that they interact with a bunch of other systems.
Daggerheart, the systems of hope and fear, that's throughout the whole game.
Yes.
And then it really comes to bear in combat.
Yep.
What other systems do you see in D&D that the initiative's interacting with?
Everything from, like, numbers of attacks per turn to, like, key points and spell slots and whatever.
Right.
If we could say, like in Daggerheart, okay, you just take as many turns as you want. You turn to the wizard and you say, how many fireballs can you cast? And you just do that.
Yeah, I've got 6 slots in this revolver. Let's fill it full of fireballs.
Yeah, let's go. And you just do that thing.
Yeah.
And arguably that is where a lot of D&D can devolve to as it stands.
I think that D&D should do that. Like, I think that, hey, let's get through this dungeon. Like, we gave our barbarian the crown of fireballs where you throw gems at things and the necklace of fire beads. And can we throw all of these at once and do 40 fireballs on this whatever? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. I read this book yesterday. I finished reading it. Dungeon Crawler Carl. I didn't 100% like it, but the entire book was the player, Carl, overcoming challenges through, like, I would call player BS, where it's like, okay, let me grab all these jugs of wine and then make Molotovs and then stack them in a cart and then trick them into coming in, lure them into this room and then we explode it. Or, like, I'm going to use my really high charisma stat on this monster and make them join my team or whatever. And the monster's going to act not at all according to what a monster would act, but you've got a really high charisma stat, so you get to make that happen.
Yeah.
It's like disrespectful to the fiction of what's happening.
So, interesting. There is a form of play that I will very, like, non-judgmentally talk about now, which is the classic form of, like, players and GMs being antagonistic against each other. The GM has prepared a challenge and it is up to the players to, like, solve that thing. And in that sense, the cart full of never-ending jugs of wine, Molotov cocktails, is not only, like, okay play, it is desirable play.
It's good play. You did it.
Because there's a rule that says this is what this jug does, and there's a rule that says this Balgest is weak to fire, and you put those two things together, and you emergently solved the problem. And you did it without having to roll dice, so you're, like, great and clever and good, and, like, it's a form of play that people love. In that sense, that player collaboration, and you know how you said in Daggerheart that, like, your turn is a gift that other players give you?
Yeah.
In like the antagonistic form, your turn is a shift.
Yeah.
Your turn is a joke. You clock into the goblin killing factory.
Yeah.
And you punch your card and then punch some goblins.
And when you don't do your work, when you inspect the chest, I'm like, we need to fire this wizard.
Yep. And so I'm not saying that is the way D&D should be played.
No.
I am saying that is the way some people play D&D.
But even though I don't play D&D that way, I have that same instinct where I have expectations of you on your turn and I want you to fulfill them. And I want you to have a turn so that you can fulfill your obligations.
So when you obligation expectation to what end? Why is it important that they share that?
To contribute, I guess.
Right.
Even in my very first ever session that I ran, I picked up Lost Minds of Fandelver. I ran it for my housemates, and we had one wizard on our team where partway through the first combat, she decided her character was a pacifist. And I was like, and she was like, I'm only going to cast a sleep spell.
Yep.
I'm like, 1, that spell sucks. 2, ugh. And all of the other players just turned on her, and they were like, we hate your character because your character never helps, they're dead weight. And like, it actually kind of affected their real life relationship as well. Like, my housemates turned on this other housemate because their wizard was a freeloader.
And I would argue it is an antisocial act to do that, because, if this is a challenge that we need to overcome, and that challenge has been designed for 4 characters, you rocking up with a pacifist puts us at the disadvantage. Now, I've never played Dungeon World with a pacifist character before, but it would be more resilient to that. And it would be more resilient to that not because it has better spell, not because the sleep spell is any better, probably just as bad, but because the things that we care about are different. And if someone said, because it's such a challenge characters' assumptions, make them buy their success with struggle, that sort of thing. If you had someone who has the pacifist character, you could constantly put them in positions and be like, the barbarian's going to be eaten by the dragon. There's a sword next to you. What do you do? And then they're like, oh, can I get out of this without hurting the dragon? That's now chewy. That's toothy.
And there's also the fact that if the player doesn't want the spotlight in those combat situations, there is wiggle room to go okay, and then just skip over them. Yeah. But in Dungeons & Dragons, Initiative 17, Pacifist Wizard, what do? I take the dodge action and I'm in the barrel.
Yep.
Great. You just vocalized why we don't like you.
Is in the barrel there a metaphor? Are you literally in the barrel?
In a barrel,
okay, cool.
What would it be a metaphor for?
I don't know, being really focused on something, or being in one spot, being in your 5-foot square.
Yeah.
I never leave this 5-foot square. I just dodge.
Do we have any closing feelings about initiative?
I think it's very interesting that we sometimes, perhaps too often, tie our character's turn, our character's acting time, in with the player's chance to have impact, or the player's chance to contribute. And that if you get to a combat thing and you're like, oh, I'm the fighter and I want to hit things with swords, but everything's too far away, everything's flying. I guess I don't get to contribute to the story now. I guess I just sit here, and I'm painfully aware of the fact that a conversation, a story in which everybody takes an equal amount of time to say things is a worse conversation than when the person who's got a good story tells a story and we all listen.
Yeah, that is actually a very interesting thing to grab. That is a crap conversation where everybody takes a turn. Oh, man. Literally, that might have changed my mind.
This is a podcast that's called Start a Quest. You can go to start-a-quest.com and you can join the newsletter. Please join the newsletter. It's where Matt writes his opinions before I make him change them.
Yeah, check us out. The previous episode we recorded was all about false rules. Are you remembering your rules right, or are you homebrewing and don't even know it? Check it out. Links right here. And all these names zooming past on the screen, these are the patrons. Join the Patreon to support the show. It's patreon.com/Hey It's Matty P. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think I might have changed my mind.
I'm really excited about that.
Maybe. I think I'll have to play Daggerheart again to see how I really feel. But I played it 3 times and I didn't like the initiative conversation.
Yeah. I'd really like to take you through a very intentional Dungeon World game where we maybe pull back the curtain a little bit as we play.